Hey, it's Erica. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about ableism within the disabled community. And this isn't aimed at anybody in particular. It's just a problem that I have seen in the disabled community, and it's something that I think needs to be addressed because it's not addressed enough. So to start off, I just want to set the record straight that disabled people or people with any type of disability can in fact be ableist. And sometimes we forget that. Like, even I will admit that I've forgotten that at times, and I've been like, oh, well, I'm disabled, so I can't be ableist. But that is not the case. And we see this a lot with, like, for instance, with physically disabled people against, like, intellectually disabled people. They're like, oh, well, at least I'm not like them. Or, like, even with people with, like, mental illness towards physically disabled people. Well, I'm talking about able-bodied people with mental illness towards physically disabled people with or without mental illness. They'll compare their mental illness, like depression or anxiety or an eating disorder, to being physically disabled. And I don't think that's a good comparison, because you can be both physically disabled and mentally ill at the same time, and by comparing the two and conflating one with the other, you're kind of like erasing those people. But also, more prominently, I've seen this with, like, disabled people that have invisible disabilities. Like, they won't advocate for disability ever, and then the second they get called out for being ableist, they weaponize their disabled status against whoever's calling them out, and they, like, use it in, like, a very violent way by saying, no, you can't criticize me for this because I'm disabled too. And it's like, well, you don't, some of us don't have the privilege of picking and choosing when we look disabled or when other people notice our disabilities. For instance, when I do a job interview, the first thing they notice is my disability. Even if it's over Zoom, even if it's over the phone, the very nature of my disability is visible, and not just in the sense where you can see it, but also when I speak, like, I stutter, and just how I kind of slur my words because my face is affected by my CP, so people can tell I'm disabled even when I'm not physically sitting in a room with them. The only time they can't tell I'm disabled is if they just see, like, a picture of, like, the top of my body, and if they see my writing that has nothing to do with my disability, then they won't know. But the second I go for a phone interview, the second I go for a Zoom interview, my disability is known, whether I choose to disclose it on the application or not. So basically, I'm just saying, if you get called out for being ableist, whether you have any kind of disability or not, like, this isn't the time to make it about you and be like, oh, well, I have an invisible disability. It's like, yeah, and you're still being ableist, like, one has nothing to do with the other. And also, if you're not going to advocate for disabled people, if you are going to ignore the community and distance yourself from the community, then you know what? You don't get to then use it when it's convenient for you. Like, that's not how it works. So, basically, that's all I really wanted to say, is that as a community, we all must do better. And that's including me. Like, in the past, I've had some very ableist beliefs, and I currently do, and that's why you really have to try to work on that, because you don't want your negative beliefs to affect other people. So while it's not your fault for internalizing them, because our society is set up, we live in a very ableist society, so it's very difficult to not internalize ableism. But that doesn't mean you have an excuse for going around and being ableist to other people and causing people harm. Like, you still have to take accountability for that, and you still have to work on that, whether you're disabled, whether you're not disabled. It doesn't really matter. You have to work on that. If you live in this society, you have to work on it, period, whether you want to or not. And especially if you have an invisible disability, please don't weaponize your disabled status against people that don't have passing privilege. And passing privilege really just means they can pass for non-disabled. Like, if they walked into a room or something, nobody would know right away that they're disabled unless they chose to disclose that. And there's nothing wrong with having passing privilege. Privilege is not like, it's not like a mark of, like, it's not saying you're bad for having privilege. But if you do have privilege, you should acknowledge your privilege and do not weaponize it against other people and harm people with your privilege. Like, use your privilege to elevate other people. And that's just my take on ableism within the disabled community. Obviously, you don't have to agree with me. And yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I just love to share my perspective on different topics related to disability with you, because I feel like it's something that's still, like, even though in 2020, like, I think, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that on Google searches for the word ableism, like, increased by 100% in the year 2020, and that's amazing. But still, as a society, I feel like we haven't really confronted ableism, even in social justice spaces. They'll talk about every type of ism and phobia out there, but ableism tends to take a back seat, and that's not okay, because ableism intersects with all of the other isms, which means if somebody is disabled, or if they're perceived to be disabled and they have other marginalized identities on top of that, and then the ableism just compounds all the other systems that work against marginalized people. So I really believe that we must talk about ableism, especially in social justice spaces. But my dog just jumped off the couch. But not even just in social justice spaces, because I hope it becomes more mainstream and more like we have to talk about this, because this is an issue of our entire society. It's not just individual people doing it. It's like systems are set up to hold disabled people back. So we all need to work on dismantling that and creating a more equitable world. Like, that's on all of us. And that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please comment down below what you think of it, or if you have any suggestions for topics you would like me to cover, feel free to comment it down below, because I read all of my comments. And please like this if you enjoyed this video, and if you have not already and you would like to see more content about disability, or like disability friendly workouts and all stuff disability related, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers by my birthday, which is May 22nd, and so far, last time I checked, I am at 81 subscribers. So I mean, I'm getting there slowly but surely. So it would really help me out if you would hit that subscribe button and watch more of my videos, because I really do love creating these videos, and I hope that you enjoy watching them. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye. Bye.